Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons, the Destination Divergence specifically. This is the Winds of Change group, who have been in the plane of Eternal Dawn recently, Irian. Last time, you guys had pretty much just made it here, if I recall correctly, right? It was one session here so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You left the plane of chaos directly here to Irian, the Eternal Dawn. You immediately found yourselves in a ruined castle covered with all sorts of different plants, vines and trees and roots of grass and everything, all sorts of things around you, but no real signs of like intelligent life anytime recently. It appears this place had not seen any hand to maintain it in quite some time. Everything just worn down and broken. Outside was a small beach area, a cliff rising from the beach, atop which was the castle you all spawned in, we'll say, entered the plane through. And there's a giant tree over top of the castle. Everything was inside a dome of glass of some kind, and there was a portal leading out, above which said, "Behold, growth amidst the ruins." You stepped through this portal and found yourself in a snowy, foggy, somewhat dark, but only in comparison to the place you'd been previously, area. Behind the portal was a giant bonfire with people just making merry, enjoying themselves, drinking, feasting, dancing, playing music, and singing. And that appears to be all they know. They don't know pain. They don't know, anything other than this fire. They don't know the world around them. They don't know of other worlds. They just know the fire, and it keeps them warm and it keeps them happy, and they were good. You didn't stay there for too long, though. You questioned them for a bit, tried to figure out what was going on, and then jumped into the fire, because that is where the compass pointed. After a brief, uncomfortable bit of smoke in your eyes and stuff, you found yourself in another completely different location. A garden. There are hedge walls and marble seats and stone pathways, sort of gravel bricked in by stone on either side. This garden is inside a forest, but the ground is not wild. It is very well maintained. Between all the trees are various stone pathways, as I already mentioned. There are every type of plant under the sun in existence here. Clemens especially, who has traveled the world a lot recently, recognizes a lot of these plants, and there are even some you don't recognize. It is kind of impossible for all of these different plants to grow in one climate, but here they are, somehow here. There's a canopy above, which Faye attempted to peek her head through and saw infinity and came back down. But yeah, you wandered there for a bit, chased some rabbits, but eventually found your way to a big open field, a clearing in the forest, a clearing in the garden, full of flowers, of course, very pretty, and no two flowers the same. As you walked following your world anchor wherever it pointed, you eventually came upon a massive tree, but a moving tree. A tree you didn't notice was moving at first, just due to it being so large and far away, but as you got closer, it is shuffling around, walking about, and occasionally stooping down just a little bit to reach a hand out towards the ground and spring new life from the flowery floor. Pull a new tree up from nothing and create a new section of the garden. It appears to be some sort of humanoid figure made of tree bark and flowers and leaves. Something strange. And you are approaching this figure. Oh, I don't want to tell you that you're approaching the figure, I guess. You guys are in the field. What are you doing?
I don't know, guys. I kind of feel like we should flee as fast as we possibly can. I don't know about you.
The anchor points away from the tree figure, right?
The anchor points directly towards the tree figure.
Then I guess we go treeward.
I wish to approach the tree figure.
All right.
We have found the Lorax.
I don't know if we should approach it.
I think the safest bet is to stay far away from it, but...
Well, this is the only sapient-looking thing that we've found. Yeah. I don't know. This is such a peaceful and relaxing place. I can't imagine there would be anything wrong with just having a conversation.
I've got the blessing of ROI. I'm persuasive. I'm confident about this. Yeah, Faye's gonna just fly towards it and say,
All right.
"Hello, good spirit."
The tree is currently, as you approach, leaning down and just sort of grooming might not be the best word for it, but sort of there's a tree he just planted. He's sort of like spreading out the branches and sort of it's a strange sight. It's almost like he's making a tree out of clay or something, just bending the branches into place, and then they just stick where they're left and are suddenly branches instead of this weird wibbly substance. As he's just crafting all of the garden around him and slowly turns his head up towards you with the sound of creaking wood and grinding bark. And now that you're close enough, you can see that he's got a crown on his head that was partially hidden by the canopy over his head before. And this crown is just made of multiple colors of flowers, just no two colors matching. Again, just an absolute rainbow of flowers all over his head, but clearly arranged into sort of a crown formation. This. Oh, hello. Creaking and groaning as he stands up to face you. How were you flying? You said.
Yeah,
All right, then he would adjust himself so that his face is at level with you wherever you are.
yeah. I'm trying to be like wherever like the natural face level would be for him. But yeah, that was yeah. Uh, First of all, thank you for allowing us to be here, I guess. I hope this is okay. My name is Faye. This is my traveling party, and we are quite lost. But how would I have the honor of addressing you? Your Majesty? Question mark?
Ah, Faye, and your companions. I am the gardener, and this is my garden. He spreads his arms wide with creaking of wood again. Shaking, some leaves fall off some of the trees that make up his arms and shoulders and head. I hope you have enjoyed my garden.
It's quite beautiful.
Thank
How,
you.
Gardener, is it intentional that the garden loops? We were finding ourselves moving forward and yet crossing the same paths over and over.
Yes. What is better than a walk in the garden, but an endless walk in the garden?
That is very solid reasoning. Good. I'm
Hmm.
glad I know why. Um,
He tilts his head in approval, just again creaking of wood, rustling of leaves.
yeah, that is a beautiful crown. Did you make that yourself?
Thank you. I did, as it were.
Are
What
there
can I do to help you, Faye, and your companions? I get not many visitors.
well, we are um for one, we're a bit lost, so it's truly very refreshing to see another living soul. For one, but we are, we are in this area to accomplish a task of sorts, and if you could be in assistance of that. I kind of look back at Carrick as I say that. I'm not sure how close everyone else is to me at this point, or if there's still fucking football fields back. But and you may be able to help us. I'm not 100% sure, but um, we are, we are actually travelers from another plane, and we are trying to uh, how to put this.
Carrick starts walking up behind Faye, and he kind of walks up and says, "Hello, my compatriot is speaking of our task at the moment. We are trying to seek a specific location on your plane, and he." As I approach this creature and I look at the compass, is it pointing towards this creature?
The compass is. Strangely enough, the compass is pointing straight down right now.
Hmm. It seems that we have to go actually straight below us. Do you know of anything straight below us?
Hmm. Depends on what you mean by below. There are a great many things below. A great many places. Tell me, what specifically do you seek?
We seek a specific location. We know not the location, but our device points us in its direction.
Hmm. Curious. Well, my garden is above many other layers. And in those layers are many seeds. Seeds of worlds, of planes. This layer is mine. There are 2 others.
Do you know of? We just came from a snowy location that seemed to have a bunch of folk sitting around a fire. Does that sound like it would be on a different layer, or is that also your layer?
Hmm. Large fire. Merrymaking?
Yes.
Indeed, very much so.
That is one of mine. A
I see.
seed.
So it seems that you are in control of quite a large layer. Is this how many of these seeds are there?
Hmm. To even describe the number would take months.
Okay, well, we won't pursue that line too much further, but in that case, how do we get between the layers?
The
That's
distance between layers is vast, but also narrow. You cannot travel there by foot or by horse, by boat or by wing. But they're never more than a thought away. The layer below mine is the refuge.
If it's only a thought away, then wonder if we can get there by thinking really hard.
Indeed.
You mean kind of like the last place we were in?
To get to my lair, the garden, one must simply plant a flower and reflect on nature's beauty.
Do you know how to get to the other two?
Hmm. The refuge is beyond my reach. The thoughts of travel are kept secret.
Which is the one besides the refuge?
The Amaranthine City.
That sounds like there are lots of people who live there.
Oh, yes. Not like you, though. He scoops a hand through the air and begins to gather light in his hand as it passes, as if there was just ambient light hanging in the air that he's just swirling up and gathering together. And he kind of balls it into a point and places it on the ground, and a rabbit hops away. He says,
Oh, look at that, light
Uh-huh.
rabbits. Was wondering how those existed.
like that. People.
I'm going to sit down. I'm going to find a nice little looking flower. And, and I'm just going to stare at it and consider how delightfully beautiful it is.
Carrick ponders for a moment, and he says, so you're saying that all of these small creatures running around, these are the citizens of your city?
Denizens of my garden, yes.
Hmm.
They are not mortal, but, well, not entirely not mortal. Faye, were you still flying up close to him?
Yeah.
He actually reaches out to you with a hand and then stops himself and says, May I?
Go ahead. Thank you.
With his index finger and his thumb on his big wooden hand, which is like the size of a wagon, reaches up to you and very delicately and gently plucks at something behind your head, like a foot or so. And you feel just the slightest pressure on the back of your neck. And as he holds it there, the rest of you can see this faint trail of like wispy energy from the back of Faye's head. And then he lets go of it.
Whoa.
Excuse me, what are you doing to our friend?
Nothing.
I'm good.
Nothing. All souls are tethered here. And those tethers gather into, and he just kind of gestures down at the rabbit, these. So, not mortal, but linked.
So they're like a shared collective?
Hmm. Collective. Yes.
It seems that the creatures of this plane don't need to eat or gain any nutrition of any kind.
Hmm.
Do they feed
Not
on the energy of this
mortal.
plane?
Hmm. Not feed, but yes, grow. Mortals gain hope through tether. Rabbits gain life.
It's so hard to concentrate on the flower when people keep talking, particularly about rabbits.
And indeed, Clement's even sitting there thinking about this flower for a while, but you close your eyes, you think really hard about it, you almost feel like the ground falls out from under you for a second. You open your eyes and you're exactly where you already were.
Very peculiar magic.
Hmm.
But and just to confirm, the flower method, that brings us to where we already are, right?
Hmm. To my garden. Maybe not here, but one of my seeds. Or here. Hmm.
I don't want us to get lost
The
once we found you.
garden represents life. The refuge represents hope.
What does the city represent?
Hmm. Growth. Hmm. Glory. Gold. Wonder. The
Those
refuge is also healing, tranquility, soothing. Hmm. One
Okay.
of these places is, well, both are below. Likely, your compass points to one of them.
So it seems that we need to dig a hole gloriously. Or we need to heal a hole. Or maybe. I don't know.
Yes. If we're gonna dig, I would hate to destroy your garden, but if there was like a specific area of the garden you would prefer us to dig in,
I
I
suppose
don't
we could
think
just.
we need to dig, you guys.
Can we even dig to that
He was
area?
clear that we can't
You
get there physically.
you would be digging many years.
oh,
We're awfully good at digging, but
We're very good at digging
point
holes for
taken.
ourselves.
And less so getting out of them.
Let's, you know what? Let's just, if it's based on thought, let's just try. Um, I'm gonna float down to everyone else, and yeah, everyone, we're gonna get in a circle. We're all gonna hold hands in a circle, okay?
okay.
Sounds good to me.
And look back to the gardener and say, "The refuge. What besides healing, healing, hope?"
Hope, soothing, tranquility, safety.
All right. Um. All right, everyone, get in a circle. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
My
When you
eyes are
close,
closed.
thank you, Clem. I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm making sure everyone else's eyes are closed. And then I'm gonna close mine. And then I'm going to just speaking aloud, kind of offering a prayer. I'm gonna say, okay,
Can Neko
here.
close its eyes?
Good
Initiate
question.
eye closing sequence.
Um, actually make contact with Neko just in case. Um, but okay, here in safety with my treasured companions in this beautiful, calm place with an honorable host. I hope down to my soul that we can all be transported to where we need to go to accomplish our noble goal. And with love, I offer healing to all of my friends that we might reach where we need to be. And I'm going to cast mass heal or whatever it's called. Yeah, the fifth level one. Um,
Okay.
on all of us here and see if anything happens. Just keep eyes closed, keep just thinking and focusing and thinking.
All
Master
right.
your fucking spell.
As you all sit in the field of flowers here, you think these thoughts, the healing goes out, and the sound that was all around you, that you had already begun to tune out as white noise, wind rustling through the grass and the flowers, through the trees nearby, the distant sounds of songbirds out in those trees, not close to the clearing, but still loud enough you can hear them. The occasional rabbit jumping through the grass, rustling it farther. The whistling of the wind in your ears, gentle as just a breeze. All of that goes away. And a moment later, you hear, much quieter, just the gentle trickling of water.
Can I open my eyes yet?
Let's open our eyes in 3, 2, 1.
Brick walls, pillars, brick floor, all polished and well kept, clean. High ceiling above. You're in a all bricked up. That's true. Yes, correct.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate
Is it Tuesday?
it. Almost. Um, you are in a building now. You are not in the wilderness. You are not in a ruined building either. Like I said, this is someplace well kept, well maintained. The pillars have arches between them all around you. The room stretches out not too far away. You're not in a terribly large room, but it does appear to be empty except for all of you being here. And in each corner is just a little fountain, sort of built into the corner, all very symmetrical, just gently letting water roll in and probably drain out somewhere out of sight, just generating that gentle sound. They're not very tall fountains or anything, just little bits of water movement. There are what look to be very comfortable like benches around, definitely large enough that anybody could sit on them or lay on them or whatever. Just just sofas, but no back. Yeah, place looks comfortable. There's a large double door, arched, made of a pretty dark wood lined with like iron and stuff, that appears to lead out of this place.
Oh, this is nice. Good job on the closing eyes thing. Really came through.
And
But is
sometimes
this
just gotta
the
go with the
city
flow.
or the refuge?
Maybe
must
the
be
refuge
the
is
refuge.
inside the city.
Carrick, where does it point?
God?
It points down still.
Looks like we have to keep going. Down, I guess.
Fucker.
Can
So
we
we're
find
being-
some stairs?
I wonder if we are on a new layer of this plane, or if this is just a seed of the trees layer. We never got his name, did we?
I don't think it was a name besides the gardener.
That's fair.
I mean, unless it
I
was
mean, we
like,
could always go back and ask, but
I don't know if we can. Um,
well, we just have to do the thing he said.
yeah, but then how do we get to his seed? He just said it will take us to a random seed. Yeah, layers and seeds. This is all a lot for my mind. I know we've done a lot of adventuring, but I ain't built for this. I'm a simple lad. Okay. Okay. Let's not rule anything out. Let's see if maybe it goes down. Maybe it's not pointing down to another layer, but maybe it's something within here. Like let's explore just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe there's some stairs or something.
All right, someone write down what the characteristics were of the other place though before we do anything. Just in case we got to go there. It was what? Um,
Yeah, so there were three
Glory.
seeds on that layer, I believe. There was the seed that we arrived in with the castle and the ocean, I believe we could see. There was the one with the folks around the fire in the snow, and then there was the garden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, according to him, there were something in the key of infinite other seeds as well. So I think we just gotta either either the gardener willed us there, or we got um turbo lucky. So let's okay. Well, let's start exploring. Does anyone else have anything they want to process first?
No, I think I'm good to go. I'm itching to see what's behind those doors.
Yeah, worst case we run somewhere and try to do another thought transport real quick, but yeah, let's see what happens. Um, so I guess without any further ado, I will open the door.
All right. And one thing I didn't didn't mention earlier, but this place, you notice there's no like torches or lanterns or windows, but you can still see fine here. It's like there's just light all around you, and still nothing has a shadow.
That's quite odd.
You approach the doors, you put a hand on them, and
Do we still have our shadows?
you
Do
do
I still
not.
have my multiples? I am free of them for, the next 10 minutes.
Yes, indeed. So you go to open the doors. They pull inwards towards you into the room that you're currently in. And outside, sunlight hits your face. First thing. Though this room was well lit by some strange means, it appears even brighter outside. There's this just, warm orange light pours into the room. There's trees outside. This door appears to enter into some kind of orchard, surrounded by tall walls. These trees are just organized neatly, and they have various fruits on them. There are a few different people you can see walking between the trees, just picking fruit, putting it into baskets. Everyone here is wearing a long, flowy robes that are sort of off-white, with no other markings or distinguishments between them. But I mean, nobody's wearing a hood or anything. You can clearly tell people apart by their faces, their hair, and so on. Which is all tied up neatly and cleanly, and everyone is just very cleanly in this place for sure.
Shall we talk to the denizens? It seems like it's served us well up till now.
I think so.
I mean, even Bob was friendly enough. In his own way.
Right. So you just approach one of the people here.
Clemens will, yes.
All right. As you approach, they hear your footsteps and turn to face you. Oh, goodness! Visitors. And they give a brief bow. Welcome to the refuge.
Clemens will graciously bow back. Thank you for the kind welcome.
Of course, all are welcome here. What brings you here, Clemens?
I never said my name.
Oh, I thought you did. That's my bad.
Oh, maybe I did. My brain
I'm
isn't working.
I'm so used to, I think you said it as Taylor, and I just was like, oh, okay, introductions, cool. No. What
Gotcha.
brings you here, traveler?
We're sort of sightseeing on our way through this plane, moving from one seed to another, following the whims of our lovely compass. This is quite a warm place. There's been a lot of warmth all the way through. A lot of trees, a lot of light. Yes, this is the first hint of what I might call a civilization that I've seen, though. There were some folks around a fire, but they didn't seem terribly interested in civilization. But you and your people are different.
Yes, we are all healers of the refuge. Are you here for healing, any of you?
Are any of us here for healing? That's a good question.
Not right now, but
Well,
maybe later.
good. This is a place of healing, but it is better not to need that healing in the first place.
Yes,
I'm glad you are all
certainly.
well.
If we wish to return here later, is there a method you would recommend for returning? If we needed healing in the future.
Well, whatever method brought you here originally should work again. I don't know. You could ask Aram.
Who is that?
Oh, the architect of refuge.
Ooh, I would love to meet this architect.
Hmm. She loves to meet all of our travelers here, of course. Well, when she has time for it.
Would she have time now, would you think?
Oh, probably. We have not had visitors in a while.
Well, then, may we have an audience then?
Yeah, of course. If you just head through those doors over there and just, well, think about the architect of this place. And, well, that should be enough.
Thank you. Get right on that, I suppose.
Of course.
Shall we repeat the process, but think of an architect this time?
Well, no, I think we might want to, given the naming scheme, I'm not sure I'm reading too much into it, but if the architect is anything like the gardener, we might be able to get more information on the city and maybe make it to that third layer. So I think it'll be worth talking to her.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So if you guys head off towards the doorway at the far side of the orchard, it is a brief walk down the gentle slopes of this place. Strangely enough, the walls around you in this orchard, they're pretty tall, but you don't see anything beyond them. Right? You don't see the hint of taller walls or taller buildings outside them. Yet there's just a door in one of these walls.
Well, look at that. Shall we go through the door? That looks like the kind of door an architect would be behind.
I'm so inclined to agree.
Clemens is going to think very hard about the fact that an architect must be behind the door.
Looking at Clemens, just like eyes clenched, concentrating, like.
Vein popping out on the forehead.
Oh.
Milas just thinking of all of his friends who are architects, just intently, not knowing a specific architect to think about in this case.
Tyler's gonna pop back to the main point.
Oh no.
Kirk is imagining some otherworldly giant architect akin to the tree.
Okay. All right.
Faye's mind is gloriously blank, head empty, not imagining anything, just opening the door.
All right. You open the door, and there is a hallway on the other side. At the end of the hallway is another door. Curiously, this hallway is lit by torches.
Shall we proceed?
I guess we've got to try again.
No, I think we've got it. I think we just need to appreciate the architecture, perhaps loudly, as we walk down the passageway.
God, it is gorgeous in here. Look at the crown molding.
I like the things that go from the floor to the ceiling. I don't know what they're called. We don't have them on ships.
They're the walls.
Oh yeah, those.
These sconces look expertly crafted.
As you guys walk down the hallway, it does seem longer than you at first thought it would be. As you step down this place, it's strange that such a long hallway is just branched off an orchard like that. But here you are, at the other end of the hallway again. 2 large double doors.
I'm going to knock on the door.
Knock, knock, knock. The door doesn't even sound hollow.
What a solid door. So well constructed. Somebody must have designed this space with quite a solid door in mind for the protection and longevity of the city. I'm gonna try to open the door.
All right. You pull the door open into the hallway. And on the other side of the door is a large open room, much higher ceilings than inside the hallway. So tall that you definitely would have seen it from the orchard if, space worked like that here. But clearly it does not. Every time you guys go through a doorway here, things get less sensical. But here you are in a large room. In the middle of the room is a large circular pool, completely still, steam rising from it gently. The outer rim of it is stepped down inwards so you can easily get down into the water if you so wished. Dotted around the outside are fountains which trickle into this pool, but still, the pool is somehow still.
I want to double check something real quick, and I'm gonna turn around and reopen the door behind us and look through it.
You turn around and reopen the door behind you and look through it. And on the other side of the door is the hallway you came from.
Oh, okay.
Describing more of the room, though. There's pillars from the floor to the ceiling scattered around these fountains. And there are many, many different, very soft-looking places to sit, of course, or lay. Some tables that look like massage tables, and so on and so forth. You found yourself in, essentially, a fantasy spa. And
Oh, this looks so relaxing.
Indeed. Standing on the surface of the pool is a woman.
Oh, well, no, I just look silly for having looked through the door behind us.
I didn't finish describing the room yet.
Oh well. Selective blindness from my list.
Head out, yeah, exactly. Oh boy. The woman on the standing on the very still pool is wearing a white robe, just like everyone else here has been. But still, even though she appears similar to everyone else around here, you can tell there's something different about her. There's a certain light in the air around her, as if she's just glowing softly. But it's not like light is coming directly off her skin or off her clothes or anything. It's more like she's always lit by the air around her. The air behind her is brighter than the rest around her. Like she's just got a constant divine halo of light. But subtle, in a way. As you all enter, she turns around. Long dark hair draped down her back, of course. And she says, "Welcome, travelers. I am Aram, the architect. You have hoped for me, so here I am."
Greetings, Haram. We are, well, travelers. I suppose that much is obvious. Such a relaxing facility you have here.
Thank you.
I'm quite jealous.
In times past, when things were less turbulent, we got lots of vacationers here. Many people in need of time, in need of healing, in need of hope. Any of those three things bring you here today?
I suppose hope brings us here. We are hoping to pass through your lovely domain as travelers and find where else our journeys may take us.
I see. Well, you need not my permission to come through my domain, but I do appreciate you asking for it, regardless. Where are you off to, then?
We are, I'd love to know, and this is just suspicion, but do you know the gardener?
Hmm. I know of the gardener. Our layers don't really cross. But I've heard of him mostly from travelers like yourselves.
Okay. Okay. In that case, then, we can be upfront. I believe we're trying to get down to the third layer, but
The city.
the city, yes.
Hmm.
We got some information from the gardener, well, enough to bring us here, and this is, and we were very happy to see that, but it seems that this is not our final destination. So with all gratitude for having, allowing us to even be here in your chambers, I would anything you can provide to give us guidance in making it down to the city would be incredibly appreciated. I promise you what our purpose here is both noble and of great importance. So even if you had any, I guess, advice to anything you might be aware of.
I have heard the city is beautiful, though I have not been myself. Full of light like everything else here is, of course. But it is a place I know that represents growth. But not growth that builds over the old, growth that builds upon it. Growth that reflects on the old. Growth that, well, realizes potential. Not growth of conquest, but growth of exploration. And well, one thing I do know is there are many people there The healers of this place are, well, this place is not as full of life as the garden or the city. That is mostly because I'm a little more particular about the embers that settle here. Here you'll find the embers of those who were particularly dedicated to the arts of healing, to bringing hope to others, bringing joy, bringing a smile to faces, and then so on.
What are these embers that you're referring to? Are these people's souls?
More or less, in a sense. And not entire souls, but linked to souls. Well, you've probably spoken with a few of them on your way through here, yes? I'm sure they would not hesitate to greet you.
Yes, I believe we shared a drink with one.
Yes, the gathered essence of mortal creatures become embers. And, well, powerful personalities, powerful groups of memories tend to bubble to the top and give these embers sparks of life and such. They can often remember what they remember in life, but they're not mortal. They don't have real will of their own. They just exist to bring their bonded mortal hope and happiness.
What an interesting system.
Well, this plane of ours, Irian, I am proud to say, is, well, the source of all light in the multiverse.
That certainly would explain why there's so much light everywhere.
Indeed. This place generates, it creates, it grows, it sheds light. And on the other end of the cycle is Mabar, where the light is consumed in shadow, where the planes are torn apart. Every thing that Mabar takes, we regrow to replace. And that is the true circle of life of this universe.
That's very good of you to do so.
It is our purpose. You spoke with the gardener already, yes?
Yes. He was very tall. He
I thought that.
turned light into rabbits. It was quite invigorating to see.
Oh, rabbits are his thing lately, huh?
Apparently so. They're very fast.
That makes sense. The gardener's job, his purpose, is to regrow spots in reality that have been taken away by Mabar. My job is to bring hope, and warmth, and happiness to all the residents of all the other planes. Although Mabar, unfortunately, cannot really be reached. The city is more for, well, you mortals, in a way. There are no, not really rabbits or birds or deer. There are humans, the embers of the humans that don't fit in here in my sanctuary, in my refuge.
Oh, interesting.
You may find yourselves there. You may find others you know there. You may find some there that recognize you, though you recognize them not.
That's a bit of a disturbing concept.
Yes,
Yes.
the Embers are not one-to-one copies of an individual. They are conglomerates of multiple individuals, with different parts bubbling up at different times, changing personality, appearance, memories, and so on.
This may not be quite as relaxing as I thought it would be. Seeing a thing who knows you, or is comprised of things and people who knew you and didn't, it just seems disconcerting. Almost the opposite of relaxation.
Mm. Yes, we do try to keep any of those who would visit our refuge here away from embers they may have known in the past.
Oh, that seems like a good idea.
Indeed.
You really think through all of the details of managing this whole ecosystem, don't you? I suppose that makes sense, given you're an architect.
Indeed. She gives a short bow, so you say that as well.
Are you aware of the coming storm?
The coming storm.
It seems that the very fabric of our planes will be changing soon.
Yes, that storm, I see. I have known it would be coming for a long time, but I know not when. It is an inevitability, you see. The planes are in a constant cycle of death and rebirth, recreation, reconfiguration, and they can't last forever. At some point, if every part of a plane has been regrown and replaced, it ceases to be the same thing anymore. Don't you think?
I think there's a lot of conversations you could have about that.
There is a certain unstableness to it all. A certain
A certain
wear.
changingness.
Yes. And it has become apparent over time.
And what are your thoughts on that changingness? Is it something that you accept as a necessary part of your work? Is it something you wish you could escape? Is it something that perhaps you wish happened to a greater extent?
I think the circle of life of these planes is inevitable, constant, a fact of life. But we here, our job is to be, well, the positive side of that coin, so to speak. We are here to generate, to grow. We are here to bring hope and happiness. I think the universe will do what the universe does. We will continue our jobs as best we can. And I'm sure everything will turn out all right. After all, I take it, if you travelers know of this coming storm, then you've got some business with it.
Yes, that's sort of what brings us on our meandering.
I see.
Although, frankly, the meandering is proving to be much more pleasant than I thought it would be, so I can't say that's entirely what keeps me personally on this path at the moment.
We have 4 other companions that are traveling to other planes as well, too. We're attempting to arrange them in the most positive alignment for our purposes. Well, for the good of the realms. I'm sure you can sympathize with that.
Of course. And by such a task, you give others hope. I'm sure you've already told many people of the hope you are bringing, yes?
Within reason.
We've spread the word a bit. Little
Oh.
bit.
Absolutely, quite a bit.
Excellent. Well, here in the refuge, my services, my personal services, are the only thing that comes at a cost. But I'm sure you'll find that cost most agreeable. If I am to help you, you must simply agree to do something that brings someone else hope. It does sound to me like you've all already fulfilled that recently, and to such a great extent that you have my assistance, whatever you need. And she gives another bow, sort of arms spread wide, like, I guess like a curtsy.
Wow. Thank you.
So tell me, travelers, what can the architect of the Refuge of Hope do for you all? Do any of you require healing from a great curse? An ancient wound that still bugs you? Soothing of mental troubles? Anything?
I turn and look at my loves.
I mean, I'm kind of cursed, but it's not really a curse.
What kind of not really a curse?
Uh, it was more of like a deal than a curse.
I see.
You know, I took a little dip in the plane of madness some time ago, and I've gotten fairly good at ignoring it with copious amounts of rum. But whenever I close my eyes, if I'm not very careful with my thoughts, I am haunted by the possibility that perhaps some of those I have killed may not have completely deserved it. Um, I you s I do feel like perhaps it's a good thing to be reminded not to make mistakes in the future, but is there any chance you could lessen these effects a little bit? Perhaps allow my reflections to be a little more um, voluntary?
Of course. She gently strides across the water towards your feet, sort of gliding along the pool with each step. As she gets to the edge of the pool, she just reaches out a hand to your forehead with 2 fingers and just, with her own eyes closed, just places those fingers on your forehead for a moment. And then there's just a sharp flash of light from between her fingers, and she pulls her hand back and says, "It is done. I have left you with the memory of making this request, of course, as a reminder always that there is something you regret there. But these dreams will no longer haunt you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for seeking redemption and hope.
Always.
Now tell me more about this deal.
So,
Milos.
some other companions and I ventured to. Wait, is it Kyber? I think it's Kyber.
Yeah.
Kyber, um, in order to attempt to stop uh, an overlord from being released. And in the process, I ended up taking a couple uh, deals with some of the uh, devils down there. Um, that, well, I thought the first one was would be of considerable help for the process of stopping the Overlord. And then the second one was because the first one attempted to um, make me his executioner. So the thought process was, well, if I give a stronger devil property of my soul, then that other guy who screwed me over doesn't get it.
See. That is a mess.
You can say that again.
I can only imagine how much this has strained you. But it's okay. This, too, can be fixed. If that would bring you hope.
That would be very nice.
It shall be done. And she holds out a hand, Malice's forehead, same as Clement's. And a flash of light later, brings back her hand and says, "A deal made in bad faith is no deal at all. You are free from these deals."
I look at the back of my hand. Is it still blue?
It is. Well, I'll ask you, would you like it to be?
I think it's cool,
There
but
you go. Then it is. Whichever outcome Milos would hope for.
I see. I don't know. He kind of likes being blue at this point.
Totally fair. Blue is a good color.
Yes.
Yabbity yabba die.
If I was blue, I would die. Wait, no. Wait a second.
Is blue that feeling that lives inside you?
Thank you very much. I will remember this. If there's any way we can pay you back other than, or I can pay you back other than spreading more hope where we can, but
Now that is sufficient. More than sufficient, actually. It's really more of a formality, you see. Nothing here costs anything. You travelers are free to, well, any of the services of this place. Any of our, if you need to stay here as long as you need, any of our food. any of our soothing or healing. That's what this place is for.
Well, thank you. Faye, is
course.
this where
Thank
your
you.
fancy feasts are from?
You know, maybe they were all along.
The
You
real
saved
fancy
this
feast
place.
was the friends we made along the way.
Cannibalism.
Fancy friends. Um, yeah, it's been my thing the whole time. Cannibalism. Okay. I'm gonna go to the architect. I'm gonna go like a little bit closer, and I'm gonna tell her, um, Aram, I have an artifact that I've been bound to for quite a long time, and it's been crucial in giving me the some of the power that I've used to do a great amount of good in our home plane, but it has in the past been able to take hold of me to do at least attempted unintended violence. I, and perhaps this is greedy, but I would love to keep my own power, my own control over this power without it ever being able to overpower me again. Is that anything you could control or help?
Hmm. Specifically, mechanically, what are you referring to here?
I'm referring to treachery and when it used to on the
Ah,
team in our caravan. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, okay.
I figured since this hasn't actually come up in a long time, it might be an easy lob for flavor to get that taken care of here. But
Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. I think in character as well, she would ask you, "May I see this artifact?"
it hesitates for just a moment and then says, "Yes." I take out treachery and I say here, pointy bits up, and I kind of point it upwards and then place it gently in
Hmm.
her.
I see. This is this is a well, a frightening object. I can see why you would want it changed, certainly. What you hold is, well, an item used in service of the mockery, which I think most of you, if you have pretty much any training in religion at all, or any inclination to learn the names of any of the gods, would know that the mockery is the dark sovereign of betrayal and bloodshed, um, representing dishonorable combat, assassins, evil warriors, so on and so forth, flaying, torture, so on. Nothing good. The like, not the glorious side of combat. The just violence. Not even war. Not even combat. Just um, shedding blood and pain is what the mockery represents. I'm afraid I can't make a minor modification to this, but I can attune it to a more favorable entity, if you are willing.
Go on.
Let's see.
I just picture that inside it, the little thing is yelling at me like fucking Danny DeVito. And
Yeah. Pretty
Hey!
much. I sense in you the blessing of ROI, yes?
That's correct.
This is something within my power. This would no longer be a tool of violence, but it should still be a useful tool for you.
Internally, Faye is like, oh, hold on, though. I still do want to do violence. with it." You know, fuck it. Fuck it. This is interesting. I'm gonna roll with it.
Okay. I will say let's work out the mechanics of this later.
Yeah, that seems like a
But
hard thing to do on the spot.
yes, it changes from a sharp crystal in your hand. She says, "It shall be done." She places her fingers on the crystal, which I believe I described previously as like a crystal that's like a flower, but all the petals are super sharp and stuff, right?
Yeah, okay, there's the full description of it. I just put it in chat. Yeah, a
perfect.
jagged crystal that is roughly the size of an apple, deep crimson in color, shapes resemble a lotus. Man, it was cool looking.
It is cool looking. I remember writing that years ago. Easily draws blood because it's just so damn sharp. Yep. All right. She places her hand on it, and there's a flash of light. Only actually, it's not a flash. I'll say this is a longer, like, just like a constant light for a few seconds here. And over the course of those seconds, each of the petals of the flower at first start to um spread out into more petals, if that makes sense. Like they're fragmenting and fraying outwards, but those quickly settle into softer shapes instead of the very sharp edges that they once were. And the petals start to reorganize themselves, and the whole thing shifts until it becomes a lot taller and skinnier, and all of the petals have become the heads of wheat, and you're holding like a bundle of wheat that is just made of like solid gold, and that is what it has morphed into.
Huh. Wow. Um, thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Privately withholding full judgment until I know the mechanics, but thank you.
I will just as an early note, it's probably going to be something healing related, just to make
Sick.
it easy, because that
Yeah.
seems like ROI, and also what the plane of life and light would offer you. So that makes sense.
As long as I still get +1, I'm fucking fine. That
Yeah,
sounds
I
awesome.
think it'll keep that, and then we'll just replace the other extra damage and crit chance stuff when you expend charges to something else.
Probably
Something
a huge
healing.
upgrade, honestly. Yeah, that's gonna be really useful. All right, sick. I'm excited about that.
Perfect. And finally, you. I do not believe I got any of your names, actually.
Oh, I'm Carrick.
Carrick. And she'll just go down the line, kind of with a gentle gesture asking for your name, realizing now she's been terribly rude. I'll just assume she gathers your names. Carrick, what would bring you hope for the journey ahead?
He thinks for a minute, and I suppose there's nothing per se that I would want to change on my person, but I would just like to have the peace of mind that back home things are going well. That's what I hope for.
I see. Well, what I can do is send a fragment of the plane to the place you call home. Create a bit of a manifest zone in that area. Keep things filled with light and hope and life. A blessing, if you will.
I would love that. And actually, now that I think of it, there may be something that you can help us with. This is not our final stop along our journey through the plains. We have one more plane to. Is it one more or two more planes that we have to put an anchor on?
Each of you is tackling 6 planes, so you have 4.
Oh, 6 planes. So yeah, we have like 4 more after this one. We still have a number of planes to go, but something that we realized while we were on the plane of madness, or plane of chaos rather, we have no way of getting back home.
See. That is a conundrum indeed. She thinks for a minute.
I have these, and I kind of hold up one of the seals. And with these, I'm able to transport us to another plane, but not to the prime material, not to Eberron.
Hey, I see. Well, and you hold out the seals, and they're covered with all this giant writing, right? As you hold them out, you see her eyes scanning back and forth as she rapidly reads all the runes on these things. Incredibly quickly, it appears. Yes. Some ancient planar magic, I see. Not seen a spell like that cast in quite a while. Well, if you... She reaches out a hand. May I?
Can I roll an insight check?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm so fucking good at this, guys.
I mean, she's the one called architect of the plane that all the other planes are supposedly birthed from. Seems like if anyone would know about planar magic, you might have essentially the god of planar magic in front of you.
I hand her one of the seals.
Which one?
The first one, the first seal. So the one with order, peace, fey, and chaos.
Actually, do you have... I see a few planes here. Do you have the one with Irian on it with you?
Yes, I do, and I pull out the second seal.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. I can just... And she holds out the same 2 fingers she's been touching foreheads and things with, and she just swipes her fingers across one of the lines, and it doesn't get erased, it just gets like pushed down. The entire tablet just extends in length slightly as she creates a new line and just writes in a bunch of runes with light that just burns down into the item, laser etching onto the surface. And now these much sharper, more recent runes compared to the old runes around it are on display in the middle, glowing faintly. She says, "There you are. Take that with you. Now, if you are in a manifest zone of my plane, the plane of light here, just think of home." And you may add that to the item if you wish.
Very
Sweet.
cool.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Of course. I just increased the attunement of the item, made it so that you summoned more of this planar magic than you normally would get on another plane. You know, just a few efficiency improvements. Should serve you well. All of that to say, the mechanics that I just told you.
Damn.
I am glad that I was able to bring some hope to you all. It is my hope that you will bring hope to the world with your actions here. And, of course, you are welcome to stay here as long as any of you need or even wish. But if you have business elsewhere and you need to get on with your journey, we also understand.
Truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your kindness, and you have our word. I look to our my companions here, and say, well, I think I think we might be able to try our little thought journey again, and get to the city if you are all ready. Does anyone have anything more they want to do on this plane or on this layer?
Honestly, you've been more than enough help than we could ask. I appreciate the assistance you've given us.
Of course. I wish you luck on your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Which way should we go if we would like to get to the city?
Well, I recommend you find a spot that you're comfortable meditating in, and, well, I'll be honest, I don't know the exact ritual to get there, but, well, you mortals are much
I have no
better
idea.
at coming up with those things than we are, I'll be honest. We have
Yeah,
no
let's-
need to travel the layers. But, if it helps, it is a place of building upon the old and improvement.
Yeah, we can. I got this one. We can do it. Shouldn't be hard to find a really relaxing spot to meditate in this of all places. So we've got that going for us. But we will deal with that out of your chambers. We've taken enough of your time. So I just do a deep bow. Thank you, truly. Again, it's been a pleasure.
And thank all of you for doing what you're doing. It's really the least I can do to aid you on your way.
I surely won't forget the things you've done today, Architect.
Thank you. And she gives a deep bow herself as well, and begins gliding back out to the center of the pool. Still, none of her steps generating even ripples on the water.
God, the people on this plane are so nice.
Yeah, yeah. This is gonna come back around in the future, but I'm trying to enjoy it while it lasts. But before we get too distracted, let's
Yeah, just
keep the
the
energy. Let's get to the third layer.
next plane you guys are going to after this one is the battleground, so enjoy it while it lasts.
We're getting
Oh boy.
Love it.
I hope you like going straight from peace into the plane of conflict.
Yay.
I don't know, but that just gives me big vibes of like Initial D drifting through the fight underneath the giant floating sword while Drost and Nala battle it out on the roof.
Yeah, basically.
um. But yeah, no, this honestly, I think we got this transportation here. So let's just find a little maybe like a little pool somewhere, and or just near a stream, and just stand holding hands again. Is everyone on the hand holding train with me?
Yes.
If you
All
would
right.
open the door on the way out of here, you find a little stream and a pool.
Did we walk through the hallway with a bunch of torches again?
Nope.
Of course.
Got it. Okay. Close your eyes. I'm looking. All
I'm
right.
watching you.
Eyes are closed. I open them
Always
again. I look
watch.
at Clemens. Make sure Clemens' eyes are closed.
My eyes are closed.
Yeah, we'll see. But okay, so I want you to all, in rhythm, say, "We are ever growing," and just think to the beginning of our travels together. Think how we were doing our best, but incomparable to how we are now, and each step of growth along the way. The skills we've learned, the masteries we've developed, the greater breadth of the accomplishments we've made, and the scale of what we've been able to affect change on in the world. And think where we are now, and while briefly tuning out the fact that in the mechanics of this world we are at level 20 out of 20, think of how we can grow further. And just we are ever growing, and we will just repeat that, and keep our eyes closed and think on our growth as travelers and warriors.
All right.
Clemens is gonna think about all that.
do a heck and think real quick with the group. As you guys
So
reflect on the journey that's brought you here, on the growth you've all experienced, reaching truly the pinnacle that a mortal can reach, the trickling of the creek stops. You no longer feel the warmth of the light around you. And you start to feel a bit of a breeze around you. Cool, but not unpleasantly so, but a bit strong. Do you open your eyes?
Let's open our eyes.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. So, you guys, I'm gonna drop an image in chat of what you see, because the PDF actually provided me an image of this one, and it's pretty. Boom. You see an endless city down beneath you. You are up high in the air on a tower, on the top of a tower at the moment. The city extends to the horizon. There's no end to the city in sight. And really, you're not even sure that it ends at the horizon. It just is as far as you can see, in every direction. Building upon building of just these shiny roofs, these bright, light-colored brick surfaces, great rivers and canals that boats are traveling through. There's a hustle and bustle of people traveling all around this place. You can see the Pegasi patrols passing overhead, angels flying about. People are laughing in the streets, happy and healthy. There are mosaics and paintings and such just plastered all over many of the buildings, depicting great and glorious victories. This whole place just is incredible. It's like nothing you've seen in the other layers yet. There's an element of just glory to this place. And you are atop a tower. Can I get perception checks from everybody? Actually, perception or investigation.
Oh,
Your choice.
both of them are so good.
Uh,
Am I foresighted right now or no?
Good question.
I feel like we foresighted at the start of this day.
I think you were foresighted inside Clemence's mansion? Or is that some... I don't remember.
Yeah, you should still have
I
foresight.
don't remember.
Because I think foresight was divination, so it was hard to cast in the plane of chaos, but once you got into the mansion, and that was technically a different plane, it was...
I think you're
You
right.
definitely had it last session.
Yes, so I think you're still foresight. Not been 8 hours yet, or whatever the time is on that.
I'm like imagining like we're looking over like Ravnica.
Yeah, basically. Like, the moon from Treasure Planet. It's just endless city, like an entire celestial body of just city. Okay, so let's see. Perception 16, 24, 11, 8. I'll say the 24 is pretty high, and it's the highest of the bunch. The top of this tower seems strangely familiar to you.
Did we blow up this tower?
Good question.
I think it's an above average chance that we blew up this tower.
That is something this group just kind of gets up to sometimes. No, there's something different about it. I will say this tower is not usual. It's not like a pointy top. It doesn't have anything like normal towers do. Instead, at the very top of this very flat tower, there are some other structures. A couple square buildings, a single very large round building, a little pathway leading from where you're standing towards the large round building. As you look down over a massive city from this little home of someone's towering above it all, feels familiar.
Why does it feel familiar to Clemens?
To Clemens as well, it feels familiar, but more probably less than the others actually, but more recent.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense at all. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, 24. This place looks very familiar. It's very strange. What could it mean? Do you want to check anything else out while you're up here?
If I think it's familiar, I'd probably want to spend a couple minutes to like investigate it, attempt to figure out what makes it familiar. If it doesn't like, if it's like that odd deja vu feeling of this seems familiar, but not being able to place it.
Okay. So what would you check out?
I'd probably start with like the shape and design of the room or tower.
Okay. The shape and design as you walk around it, there are 4 square, like little huts. Well, not square, maybe rectangular-ish. Sort of on either side, 2 on each side. And then where you guys like ended up is an empty side of the circle. And then across from where you ended up is a large round structure with 2 little kind of knobs sticking off the sides, like secondary rooms. Do you go in any of these rooms?
I'd at least like poke my head into them.
All right. The little huts on the outside appear to be mostly storage. One of them does appear to be a bedroom. A rather large bed. The larger, more circular room, you poke your head inside, and you see a library with a massive orrery in the middle.
Mm.
There's a shining, glowing crystal hovering in the center. And a man standing at this orrery, taking notes on something at the far side of the room.
Hello there.
Man stands up, turns around and closes his book, and adjusts his spectacles as he turns. And you see a face you haven't seen in years. A face you thought was dead.
Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I was just about to say
As-
SAO.
SAO greets
Mm.
you.
Oh fuck.
Welcome, welcome to our home. It has been so long. And that is where we're going to end for tonight. A little bit early, but I think that is a fun note to end on.
Very much so. Very
Oh,
dun
hell
dun
yeah.
dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you for session. This was a good one.
That was awesome.
Thank you for playing.
Yeah, thanks, you guys.
Thanks for the session.
Yes, thank you very much.